Good evening, all, and welcome to Judson's annual intimate, although growing, Maundy Thursday service here. It is both all of us who are gathered at this physical table in this space, and it's also the folks who are joining us online. So let's take a moment and just psychically stretch this table all the way through so that those folks feel like they're at the table with us. Thank you all for being with us in the live stream as well. My name is Micah. If we haven't met, I'm the senior minister here at Judson, and this is one of my favorite days of the year. And I think as we continue to move through this service, you will know why. Because if you have no idea what Maundy Thursday is and you kind of just showed up in this space, then you have a treat in store for you, because this is one of my favorite Judson traditions and Christian traditions. And if this is a service that means something deeply to you, welcome back. I am so glad that we are together at the table again. Tonight we continue our Holy Week journey that began this past Palm Sunday as we remembered Jesus entering Jerusalem at the start of the last week of his life on earth. And this journey will continue tomorrow at our Good Friday service that we are sharing with Forefront Church in this very space. So you will be welcome to come back again at 7 p.m. on Friday. At the Good Friday service, we remember Jesus' execution at the hands of the Roman Empire centuries ago. And we also remember the ways that crucifixion continues to visit all of us throughout history and through our continuing history. And then all of this will culminate, we are told, in a celebration on Sunday morning when we will have a burst of renewed resurrection as Easter descends upon us and rises amongst us. But even if you doubt that any resurrection will come, you are very welcome at this table. Doubt and faith, fear and hope, confidence and humility, those are the things that make up the alchemy of this table. These are the stories that we steward. These are the stories we tell ourselves so that we may be reminded that empire, no matter how disastrous, no matter how violent, no matter how powerful it thinks it is, empire does not have the final word. So, even though resurrection might feel far off for many of us right now, at this table, we are turning these tables into time machines. We're taking us back so that we remember promises that were made back in that last week of Jesus' life, when we remember that he made a mandate. And if you don't know why this day is called Maundy Thursday, it's because Maundy goes to mandate. Etymologically, they're connected. Because at the table on that Thursday night, Jesus gave his followers, who were really his friends, he gave them a mandate that no matter what happened to him bodily, no matter what continued to happen to them bodily after he was executed, that they would love one another as he had taught them to love one another. That's the mandate that we are embodying tonight at this table. Tonight we will read and retell the story of Jesus' final meal with his friends, and we will sing and we will share silence. And then the added bonus to the readings that we will do from our ancient scriptures is that our community ministers who are sitting among us at this table have chosen readings that connect us to the current crucifixions that are happening in this country and in this world. Right now, we have a group that gathers monthly that takes us through what the voices of crucifixion are asking us to do and calling us to do social justice-wise in this world. We call that SAS, the Social Action Spirit Squad. And right now, our focuses are combating and resisting white Christian nationalism, solidarity with LGBTQIA+ folks, especially trans folks, earth care and climate justice, and also migration and solidarity with immigrants. Of course, those are only 4 of the intersecting justice issues that we are focused on right now, but those are what we are really putting all of our Judson resources behind right now. So as we prepare to both read ancient stories and hear about the continuing justice fights that we're a part of, I invite you to pray with me in whatever way is comfortable for you. Creative hands of the universe, we return to this table tonight to remember a sacred mandate, to put back together the pieces that so many of our systems try to tear apart, to reassemble an assembly of hope and love. May this time together comfort us and confound us. May we breathe into the mystery that is our shared story of collective liberation, of collective dedication, and of continuing collective inspiration. May we relent and soften ourselves, allowing ourselves to break open so that we may be remade together. May this table be a time machine, showing us where we've been, showing us who we are, and showing us what we can become. Amen. Welcome.
A reading from the Gospel according to John. During supper, Jesus got up from the table, took off his outer robe, and tied a towel around himself. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You do not know now what I am doing, but later you will understand me." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hand and my head." Jesus said to him, "One who has bathed does not need to wash except for the feet, but is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you." For he knew who was to betray him. For this reason, he said, "Not all of you are clean." After he had washed their feet, had put on his robe, and had returned to the table, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if your Lord and teacher have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example that you also should do as I have done to you. Very truly I tell you, servants are not greater than their master, nor are messengers greater than the one who sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them. I am not speaking of all of you. I know whom I have chosen, but it is to fulfill the scripture. The one who ate my bread has lifted his heel against me. I tell you this now before it occurs, so that when it does occur, you may believe that I am he. Very truly I tell you, whoever receives one whom I send receives me. And whoever receives me receives him who sent me. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also should love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. Next is a modern reading on Christian nationalism from Reverend Dr. Liz Theoharis. The night before Jesus was lynched by the state, he did not rally an army. He washed feet and broke bread with the poor, the traitor, and the unfortunate. Reverend Dr. Liz Theoharis of the Poor People's Campaign and author of Always With Us, What Jesus Really Said About the Poor, reminds us that on Maundy Thursday, Jesus did not institute a ritual for the powerful to control. He modeled foot washing an act of solidarity with the marginalized, and shared a meal of resistance while under the grasp of the empire. Today, when Christian nationalism baptizes racism, greed, and domination, we must remember Jesus was killed by religious and political leaders who conflated God with states' power. Our charge today is to disrupt that evil. Our call now is to follow what Jesus taught, and our command, always, is to love.
Oh Reading from the Gospel according to Mark. They went to a place called Gethsemane, and Jesus said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." He took with him Peter and James and John and began to be distressed and agitated. And he said to them, "I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and keep awake." And going a little farther, he threw himself on the ground and prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. He said, "Abba, Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me, yet not what I want, but what you want." He came and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter, "Simon, are you asleep? Could you not keep awake 1 hour? Keep awake and pray, that you may not come into the time of trial. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." And again he went away and prayed, saying the same words. And once more he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were very heavy, and they did not know what to say to him. He came a third time and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and taking your rest? Enough, the hour has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand." A modern reading on LGBTQIA+ solidarity from Tourmaline on freedom dreaming. Quote, "We are not what the state says we are. We are not what the violence tried to make of us. We are holy. We are divine. We are not meant to be disappeared." Tourmaline. What does it mean to know in our willing but world-weary bodies that all things are possible, not only for and through a distant God who is other than us, but rather in and of us? How do we hold this deep grief of Jesus as leader and teacher in Mark, the Greek of which in fact translates to furious, and find therein not a stultifying shame, but the power to rouse ourselves and know the hour for us to embody our divine possibility, our immense love for all of what and who we are is at hand? Let these words from trans activist, writer, and filmmaker Tourmaline invite you to find in queer trans liberation and life a portal to participation in our collective freedom dream. She writes, "Freedom dreams are born when we face harsh conditions, not with despair, but with the deep knowledge that these conditions will change. That a world filled with softness and beauty and care is not only possible, but inevitable. Freedom dreaming starts with asking questions, often the same questions, over and over, allowing ourselves to get deeper each time. Coming out of the long tradition of freedom schools, I focused on these 3 questions as an organizer. What has the dominant culture have that we want? What does the dominant culture have that we don't want? What do we have that we want to keep? These days, it is the 3rd question that preoccupies me. The thing is, freedom dreaming isn't just about the big things, the huge world changes that we are manifesting in our movements like police and prison abolition, free universal health care, and gender self-determination for all. When I give myself permission to slow down like this, and particularly when I wonder what we already have that we want to keep, what I notice are the small things, or should I say, what seem like the small things, but really are the big things. The everyday acts of liberatory glamour, care, and openness that keep us alive. I want you to know that your freedom dreams can be immediate. The DMs you want to receive tonight, the quality of sleep you want to have, the screen break you want to take, the conversation you're hoping to have. It's not frivolous to have dreams about seemingly small or pleasurable things. It is vital. I'm not satisfied with Black trans lives mattering. I want Black trans lives to be easy, pleasurable, and filled with lush opportunities. I want the abundance we've gifted the world. The art, the care, the knowledge, and the beauty to be offered back to us tenfold.
A reading from the Gospel according to John. Now Judas, who betrayed him, also knew the place, because Jesus often met there with his disciples. So Judas brought a detachment of soldiers, together with police from the chief priests and the Pharisees, and they came there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Then Jesus, knowing all that was about to happen to him, came forward and asked them, "Whom are you looking for?" They answered, "Jesus of Nazareth." Jesus replied, "I am he." Judas, who betrayed him, was standing with them. When Jesus said to them, "I am he," they stepped back and fell to the ground. Again he asked them, "Whom are you looking for?" And they said, "Jesus of Nazareth." Jesus answered, "I told you that I am he. So if you are looking for me, let these men go." Now a modern reading on migration, Things We Carry on the Sea by Wang Peng. We carry tears in our eyes. Goodbye, Father. Goodbye, Mother. We carry soil in small bags, may home never fade in our hearts. We carry names, stories, memories of our villages, fields, boats. We carry scars from proxy wars of greed. We carry carnage of mining, droughts, floods, genocides. We carry dust of our families and neighbors incinerated in mushroom clouds. We carry our islands sinking under the sea. We carry our hands, feet, bones, hearts, and best minds for a new life. We carry diplomas, medicine, engineer, nurse, education, math, poetry, even if they mean nothing to the other shore. We carry railroads, plantations, laundromats, bodegas, taco trucks, farms, factories, nursing homes, hospitals, schools, temples, built on our ancestors' backs. We carry old homes along the spine and new dreams in our chests. We carry yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're orphans of the wars forced upon us. We're refugees of the sea rising from industrial wastes. And we carry our mother tongues, Ai, Hub, Leib, Amor, love. Pingan, Salam, Shalom, paz, peace. Shiwang, Amal, Hafnang, Esperanza, hope, 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 as we drift in our rubber boats from shore to shore to shore.
spreading leaves after a massacre, or the smell of coffee and no one there. Some humans say trees are not sentient beings, but they do not understand poetry, nor can they hear the singing of trees when they are fed by wind or water music, or hear their cries of anguish when they are broken and bereft. Now I am a woman longing to be a tree planted in moist, dark earth, between sunrise and sunset. I cannot walk through all realms. I carry a yearning I cannot bear alone in the dark. What shall I do with all of this heartache? The deepest rooted dream of a tree is to walk, even just a little ways, from the place next to the doorway to the edge of the river of life, and drink. I have heard trees talking long after the sun has gone down. Imagine what it would be like to dance close together in this land of water and knowledge, to drink deep what is undrinkable.
A reading from the Gospel according to Mark. They compelled a passerby who was coming in from the country to carry his cross. It was Simon of Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus. Then they brought Jesus to the place called Golgotha, which means place of a skull. And they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. And they crucified him and divided his clothes among them, casting lots to decide what each should take. My wife Carol and I spent the first 6 weeks of the pandemic back in March and April 2020 living with my parents in suburban New Jersey. My mother has Alzheimer's, and she had just had a hip replacement. And in the choice between not being able to be with them at all for some indefinitely long period of time and moving in with my parents, moving in with them seemed like the only responsible choice. My journal entries from that time are in a folder labeled Quarantined with Alzheimer's. And it was exactly as horrible as that sounds. Alzheimer's is a wretched, cruel disease. It not only steals people's memories, but also their ability to reason and their ability to regulate emotions. As they slowly lose their minds, they know something is terribly wrong, but they're unable to comprehend it. Amidst fear and grief, which are entirely appropriate responses to their condition, they lack the capacity to metabolize those emotions and are left wholly at their mercy. Those 6 weeks in 2020 were hell. No matter what we did to try to mitigate the anguish of Alzheimer's, it was always there. Rereading my journal entries from that time, I came across this. What's so utterly agonizing is wishing you could spare someone pain and knowing you cannot. I'm trying not to numb out. I am just now understanding that moment when Jesus refuses the wine mixed with myrrh. I knew that the wine-myrrh mixture offered to Jesus was a painkiller, and offering a condemned man some measure of relief before the excruciating pain of crucifixion was a common practice in the ancient world. The wine-myrrh mixture was considered a narcotic. But I had, until that moment in 2020, never understood why Jesus would turn it down. In fact, that idea had completely baffled me. But now, suddenly, in the midst of my own deep emotional pain, I understood something new. And I want to try to share it with you because it feels extremely relevant to this moment in history when there is so much pain all around us. I wanted to be fully present, even if that meant more pain than if I numbed out with whatever I had on hand. In that moment, I knew that my presence, my full, conscious presence, was the only thing I could give, the only thing I had to offer, without narcotics, without dulling the pain, without denying the agony of the situation. If I wanted to be pastoral about it, I would call this a ministry of presence. This is also how I understand the Jewish ritual of sitting Shiva. That period of time after a death when family and friends come and simply sit with those who are grieving. There's nothing you can fix. All you can do is show up. I know there are times when I have failed to show up. I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing. I had no idea how to ease someone's pain, so I stayed away. I've been on the other end of that too. In crisis, in deep grief, and the people I expected to reach out to me, nowhere. It feels lonely. What I need in times of grief is the power of community. I need to know I am not alone. I don't need you to cheer me up or try to find the silver lining or the bright side of something or anything like that. In fact, those things can sometimes make me feel more lonely because they don't match my reality. I need you to see, without trying to dull the pain, see how bad it is and not run away. Just be with me in the pain. Most of the time when I have picked up the phone to call the friend with the terminal cancer diagnosis or sent the condolence card, I say, I don't know what to say, but I want to be here for you, with you. And most of the time I hear that it's my presence, not my words, that matter in the moment. So I want to say to all of you tonight, reach out to the people in your life who are hurting. Don't be afraid to make the call, because you don't know what to say. Face the bad news and the grief with somebody. Visit the dying friend in the hospital. Resist the urge to dull the pain by finding hope or good news somewhere in the situation when it's not there. Some situations simply don't have good news. Don't deny that reality. Don't deny your presence to that reality. I would be remiss, though, if I stopped here. If I only urged you to a ministry of presence in your circle of family and friends. The truth is, we need to also look at the world without painkillers. We need to not look away from the horror or deny that it's as bad as it is. Before I go any further here, I want to say a few things about what I am not saying. I am not saying that you should doom scroll 24/7 and never take a break from looking at the news. We all need places of retreat in order to regenerate. For me, those places involve friends and community, and also Real Housewives and Ben and Jerry's. My point is more about not deluding ourselves than it is about some kind of quantity of time that we spend facing the truth of our world. And ultimately, this is a sermon about what we need to do and not the sermon about how we do it and how we survive it. That sermon also needs to be preached, but this is not that. So don't look away. The slaughter in Gaza is even worse now than it was before. And we must not turn away or pretend that this is not genocide. Genocide fully enabled by our very own tax dollars. Our immigrant neighbors are being disappeared off city streets and sent to a concentration camp in El Salvador. The regime is taking a sledgehammer to government agencies and programs that are a lifeline to tens of millions of people. Opponents of the regime are arrested, and as M. Gesson said recently, the method is, give us the person, we'll find the infraction to charge them with. Meanwhile, capitalism has become a death sentence executed on the world's poor through climate catastrophes, both sudden and gradual. Don't drink the myrrh and wine. Don't numb out with a false narcotic of hope. Don't drink the Kool-Aid of liberal leaders who assure us that all we need to do is get a Democrat back in the White House. Don't buy the buzz that the courts will save us. Don't pretend it isn't as bad as it is. And don't look away. Why? Because this is about solidarity with the persecuted. And it is also about the truth. It's about solidarity with the persecuted. We must not turn away, even when we have tried to stop the horrors and we cannot. In fact, especially when we have tried and failed to stop them, we must not turn away. In these moments, all we have left to offer is our witness, our presence, our affirmation that we will share the true knowledge of the injustice. We will not leave the hunted and the tortured alone in their agony. This is the agony of the cross. That cross that even as we sit here tonight at the Last Supper, we know is coming. That cross of empire brutalizing and subjugating oppressed peoples around the world, snuffing out resistance. We are living a Maundy Thursday moment in the midst of a death-dealing empire where things are bad and almost certainly about to get worse. Of course, we all know that Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday are followed at last by Easter Sunday. But I won't pretend that resurrection or victory or justice are around the corner, that the eschatological promise of God's triumph is anywhere in sight. It is not. It is surely not. But here's the thing about the relationship between the cross and the resurrection. The centrality of the cross to the possibility of resurrection is precisely that unless we go through it, unless we go through the cross, we cannot get there. New life, resurrection, a world in which everyone has food, water, shelter, and health care, a world in which swords are finally beaten into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks. That world, that resurrection will never be possible unless we first face the truth of the horror we are living now, the truth of the cross. We cannot fix what we do not acknowledge is real. Anyone who's been through the depths of PTSD will tell you that healing requires facing the trauma. We can't end genocide if we don't admit it's happening. We won't defeat white supremacy if we're not honest about how central it is to our nation's foundations. Borders will not be abolished until we truly see how they function to protect global capitalism. We have to face the truth about the world we live in and the systems that produce so much death and suffering. Only then can we possibly dismantle them. So don't take the narcotic. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't look away. If there is any hope for moving from the crucifixions of our world to the time when justice rolls down like water and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream, it begins by facing the horrors of the cross, the truth of the cross, and channeling our grief and our rage into a resurrection of never again. Amen.
have journeyed to the deepest depths of the shadowy places of this sacred story, and thanks to Benz and the readings that our community ministers have chosen, we have also journeyed to the deepest depths of our continuing crucifixions in this world, but we are gathered at table. So, you are not required to partake in communion in the ways that we are about to right now, but please know that if you've ever been in a place where you felt turned away from a table like this, that you are welcome at this table. No one will look at you in a weird way if you don't partake. But know that this is a place of healing. This is a place of regathering. And on the night that we remember, Jesus looked around at all of his friends, and he took a loaf of bread and he broke it. And we've got to be honest, we don't know what he said, but we have stories that tell us what he might have said. And he might have said, "Take and eat from this broken loaf of bread. This bread represents my body that will soon be broken. But my body will not be the last one that is broken. My body isn't the first one to have been broken. And as we eat together right now, may we commit to not turning away from the many broken bodies that continue to surround us." Let's eat together. And in the same way, Jesus lifted up a cup. And he might have said, "This might look like some normal cup, but this is a cup of everlasting love. This is a cup of embodied love. This is a cup of mandated love. Your mandate tonight is that after I am gone, you will embody love and make that love everlasting until it heals and remembers every broken body." Let's drink together. Creative hands of the universe, we have journeyed together tonight, and we continue to journey together tonight. As we remember these stories and recommit tonight to not turning away, to embodying love, and to becoming the radical hope that we wish to see in the world, may we remember that we must travel to these deep depths in order to continue to co-create resurrection at all. Amen.